You're under arrest for the murder of William and Hilda Stone.
Everything is going according to plan.
These tests can't be right. Run them again. I can't be.
Lori, I can't do this. I can't let you get hurt.
Jacob, if you keep trying to get Nyla out, you might end up in there with her.
The Stone Empire is crumbling.
Your family got her into this, Jacob. Fix it.
Jacob, what are we going to do?
We're gonna fight like hell.
Say less I love you. Season 4, Episode 1. Chapter 3, 108. Nyla. I feel the cold metal of the handcuffs bite into my wrists as a guard escorts me down a long, fluorescent-lit corridor. The EC Plus hoe of my footsteps seems impossibly loud, matching the thudding fear in my chest. I've been stuck in the county jail holding area for 48 hours, waiting to be arraigned and assigned. Now it's happening. With a sharp rap of the guard's baton against metal, the heavy door clangs open. On the other side is the women's block of the prison, my new and dreaded reality. I've never heard a sound quite like the giant metal door sliding shut behind me. A shudder of finality ripples through my body. The cell block smells of disinfectant and stale air. Uniformed correctional officers stand at intervals along a wide hallway lined with barred cells. Somewhere farther down, I hear a burst of shrill laughter that dissolves into angry cursing. A knot tightens in my stomach. "Name?" barks the short, stocky guard leading me, even though he's reading my file on a tablet. I clear my throat. "Nyla Thomas." He taps the screen. "Cell 16, let's keep it moving," he says, motioning for me to walk ahead. His tone is dismissive, neither cruel nor kind, just weary, like new inmates are all the same to him. For me, however, nothing about this is routine. As I make my way down the corridor, I feel countless eyes on me. Inmates peer through the bars of their cells. Some of their faces are curious or show something like pity. Others look downright predatory. Whispers follow me. "That's the one who... I saw her on the news. Rich murderess, right? Watch your back, girl." I force my gaze forward, determined not to react. My chest feels tight, and I try to focus on breathing steadily. At last, we reach cell 16. The guard takes out a massive ring of keys, finds the right one, and shoves it into the lock. With a screech and a bang, the barred door slides open. Inside, I see a single bunk bed, a small, scratched metal table attached to the wall, and a combined toilet sink unit in the corner. A thin rectangle of light from a barred window slants across the floor. A woman already occupies the cell, sitting on the lower bunk with her arms crossed. She's tall and lean with cropped black hair and a face that looks carved from stone. Tattoos line her forearms, their designs peeking out from the rolled sleeves of her prison jumpsuit. Without missing a beat, the guard points at her. "Nyla Thomas, meet Josephine Jo Merrill. You'll be bunkmates." Then he turns on his heel and heads off, the clang of the cell door echoing in my ears. Jo gives me a once-over, eyes brimming with distrust. "So, you're the new one," she mutters. "Heard you're a stone princess or something. Big fancy house, big fancy job. Thought you had a fancy fiancé too." My pulse stutters. I part my lips to speak, but my mouth feels like sandpaper. I'm not sure you've got the right idea," I say softly, stepping closer to the bunk bed. "Doesn't matter," Jo replies with a sneer. "Long as you stay out of my way." I nod, swallowing any hint of pride. Explaining my actual background seems pointless. Here, rumors and tabloids have cast me as a rich, manipulative murderer. There's no benefit in trying to argue with that tonight. Gingerly, I perch on the top bunk and set down my small sack of prison-issue toiletries. My palm brushes the thin, scratchy mattress, and a wave of exhaustion nearly overtakes me. I haven't truly slept since I got dragged into that holding cell. The tension in this grim new environment feels crushing. You can't talk your way out of here, Jo says, her voice echoing from below. We've all done something, or they say we've done something. She lets out a harsh laugh. Get used to it. I press my lips together. I'm fully aware that any show of weakness might cost me. The truth is, I feel utterly lost. I manage a quiet, thanks, though I'm not even sure what I'm thanking her for. She doesn't reply. Resigned, I lie back and stare up at the stained ceiling, my mind replaying the horrors of the past few days, my arrest, the humiliating strip search, the endless swirl of accusations in the media. It's like the entire world collapsed under me, and now I'm left to pick up what's left in a prison cell. That night, I can't sleep. Shouts, clangs, and occasional sobs ricochet through the block. Every so often, I hear a guard's heavy footsteps stomp by. The harsh fluorescent lighting never really goes dark, throwing jagged stripes of brightness through the bars. I close my eyes and see Jacob's face as I remember it last. A worried expression, promising to do anything to clear my name. It feels so distant now. I wonder if he still trusts my innocence or if doubts have crept in, as they have for everyone else. I whisper a silent prayer that somehow he'll prove I didn't commit murder. The hours drag, and the distant screams of someone in crisis force me to clamp a pillow over my ears. A few tears slide out in the darkness. Tears of desperation. Eventually, I drift off into a shallow, restless sleep that brings no comfort. I jolt awake to the metallic bang of a baton on bars. A guard calls for head count. Disoriented, I climb down from the top bunk, every muscle aching from tension. I follow Jo out to the corridor alongside the other inmates, forming lines while guards hover with clipboards. A tall female guard zeroes in on me. Name? Nyla Thomas, I say, noticing how a few of the women glance at me. Some definitely recognize me from the sensational headlines. She gives a curt nod. Move along. We shuffle to the cafeteria next. The line yields a scoop of something resembling oatmeal, a stale slice of bread, and a small carton of milk. My stomach churns, so I barely manage a few bites. Groups of prisoners jockey for spots at communal tables, forming alliances or exchanging wary looks. The tension is a physical thing. I feel it pressing on my chest. In the end, I sit alone and do my best to ignore the stares from across the room. Less than 24 hours in, I'm already overwhelmed by the bleakness. My thoughts race. When will I see a lawyer? Has Jacob hired someone? Has Stone Hospital's board spoken out, or do they all think I'm guilty too? Headlines flash in my memory. Nyla the Black Widow. Stone wife murders for millions. My hands shake recalling it. Everything is so wrong. 4 grueling days later, each one a copy of the last, from head count to meager meals to mind-numbing chores, my name crackles over the PA system. Thomas, visitor, a guard shouts, and I nearly drop the broom I'm holding. My heart thumps wildly. Jacob? I dare to hope. But the guard leads me out of the cell block, down more corridors, and into a cinder block visitation area. Rows of plastic chairs line up behind a plexiglass partition. I step forward, scanning the faces. That's when I see Lori, my best friend, with her hair in a messy bun. The moment our eyes meet, I want to cry from relief. She's with someone else, a woman in a crisp navy suit, obviously an attorney. And there's no sign of Jacob. I feel disappointment twist in my stomach. I pick up the phone on my side of the glass partition. Lori and the lawyer sit on the other side. Hey, Lori says gently, pressing the receiver to her ear. I'm so sorry it took me this long. They made me jump through hoops to get approval. I swallow hard, tears threatening. I'm just glad you're here. Where's... The words catch in my throat because I already know. Lori's eyes darken with sympathy. Jacob can't come right now. Reporters are on him 24/7. Even stepping outside draws a media mob. But she musters a wobbly smile. He wants me to tell you he's on it. Working around the clock, he says, tell Nyla I'll get her out no matter what. I shut my eyes, a mix of relief and sorrow coiling inside me. Thank you, I whisper. I was so scared he'd given up. Lori shakes her head emphatically. Never. He's just under a ton of pressure. The board, the media, everyone's breathing down his neck. He's trying to hold everything together. I nod, trying to keep my composure. I get it. At that moment, the attorney clears her throat. She's a wiry, no-nonsense type with glasses perched on her nose. Nyla, I'm Margaret Ross, your defense counsel, she says in a calm, low voice. Jacob Stone retained me for your case. We need to go over the details. I nod, biting my lip. I give Lori a grateful look. How bad is it out there? I ask softly, glancing between them. Lori sighs. Worse than bad. The media's crucifying you, calling you a gold digger, a murderer, you name it. She winces. Protesters are outside the courthouse every day. Some want the death penalty. It's intense. My breath catches. Marcus. I murmur, bitterness flooding me. He's behind all this. He framed me somehow. All the evidence. Let's get into that, Margaret interrupts, leaning toward the glass. The evidence is considerable. The police say they found bank documents linking you to Cayman accounts, money reportedly stolen from Stone Hospital. They found your prints on the car, plus a note in your handwriting. It's forged, I burst out. Marcus has the money and the resources to fake that. He probably hired a forger. Margaret lifts a hand to calm me. I understand what you're saying, but we can't prove it. Forensics concluded the note is genuine. The accounts apparently are in your name. Unless we find a smoking gun, the prosecution feels confident, and they're pushing for the maximum penalty. My head whirls. So, I have no options? Margaret gives me a measured look. I wouldn't say none, but the best strategy might be a plea deal. My throat goes dry. A plea deal? For a murder I didn't commit? She sighs. If we fight at trial and the jury decides you're guilty, you could face life without parole. With a plea, we might secure a lesser charge, maybe second degree or manslaughter. And you might be out in 20 years or so on good behavior. I can barely comprehend it. 20 years. I glance at Lori, who's teary-eyed. No, I say firmly. I refuse to spend 20 years for something I never did. Margaret exhales. I won't force you. I just need you to understand how bleak it looks. Then we fight, I insist. My voice quivers. I won't let that monster Marcus walk away victorious. Lori leans in, her voice shaking a little. I believe you, Nyla. Jacob does too. We'll figure this out. Before I can answer, the guard at the door steps forward. Time's up, he snaps. Wrap it up. Panic claws at me. I want more time to ask about everything. The hospital, the boards, any new leads. But I just tighten my grip on the phone. Lori presses her palm against the glass. Don't lose hope. I'll be back soon, okay? Hang in there. I match her gesture, tears stinging. Thank you. And tell Jacob. My voice trembles. Tell him I'm trusting him. I will, she promises. Margaret gives me a short nod, scribbling on a pad. Keep your head down, she advises. We'll meet again as soon as I can. Think about the plea at least. Her tone is grim. My jaw locks. Goodbye. I can't bring myself to say more. The guard leads me out, and I catch one last glimpse of Lori's anxious face behind the plexiglass, the lawyer's brow furrowed. That image stays with me all the way back to my cell. Once I'm locked into cell 16, I climb to the top bunk, my chest so tight I can hardly breathe. Tears well up, slipping through my fingers as I press my palms over my eyes. 20 years? More? Life? The magnitude feels crushing, especially when I'm innocent. I'm so wrapped in misery that I don't notice Joe's voice at first. Bad day, princess? A humorless laugh escapes me. I wipe my wet cheeks. You have no idea. She snorts. I saw your friend show up. Must be nice. Did you get good news? I chew my lip, not sure how much to say. Not really. My lawyer thinks the case is strong. She wants me to take a plea. Joe lets out a sharp exhale. Lawyers always push pleas. Makes their job easier. Silence hangs in the air, broken only by distant clanging in the corridor. I notice the dim overhead light flicker. Everything feels hopeless. After a long pause, Joe speaks again, softly this time. I know you didn't do it. That shocks me. I lean over the bunk's edge. You do? She sighs. I don't get that vibe from you. You're too... I don't know. You're scared. The ones who kill for rage or money walk different. I swallow, sudden emotion burning my throat. I'm not sure what to say. Don't say anything. Maybe I'm wrong. She shrugs. But we're stuck here, so I won't hassle you, if that's what you were worried about. Relief floods me. Thank you, I murmur, genuine gratitude trembling in my voice. That means more than you know. She grunts in acknowledgement and conversation ends. Still, I feel a flicker of solace. I'm not entirely alone, even if it's a tentative acceptance from my cellmate. Late that afternoon, an inmate from another block returns from cleaning staff offices and spreads fresh gossip. Apparently, the news channels are broadcasting nonstop coverage of the Stone case. They're labeling me a black widow, a gold digger nurse, and worse. Some pundits are even calling for capital punishment, with dramatic lines like, "She took a life out of greed. She deserves no mercy." I listen, my stomach in knots, my head throbbing as I lean against the cold metal bars. So this is how the world sees me now? I try not to let it break me. I remind myself Jacob won't let me fall. I repeat the words Lori passed on. He'll get you out no matter what. I cling to that like a lifeline in the dark. And under my breath, I whisper the name. Marcus. My anger flares, hot and unwavering. I'll find a way to expose him. A day later, a guard calls me to a small enclosed room for another meeting with Margaret Ross. The guard stays outside while we sit at a tiny table. She sets a manila folder in front of her, her expression grim. "I've compiled the recent coverage," she says. "It's not good. You're public enemy number 1. My heart flutters with dread, but I make myself look at the headlines. Pictures of me fill the page, accompanied by phrases like murderess, cunning nurse, millions on the line. It's like a punch in the gut. "I'm telling you," I say, gripping the table. "Marcus is the puppet master. He has resources. He set me up." She purses her lips. "Even if that's true, we have no proof, and the prosecution is relentless. They're pushing for a quick trial because they say the public demands swift justice. The public will think you killed defenseless people." "I'm not lying," I insist, my voice quivering. "I'd rather die in here than falsely confess." Margaret sighs, pressing her fingers to her temple. "All right. Then we have to build a defense from scratch, disprove the timeline, attack the evidence. Is there an alibi for the night William died? Video footage, maybe?" I blink, recalling that awful sequence of events around Jacob's poisoning, losing his memories, and then Haida and William's death. I went home alone. I was exhausted. Maybe the apartment lobby had cameras, but that was a while ago, and I don't even know if they keep footage that long. She nods, jotting notes. "We'll check." Also, about the Cayman bank accounts. Maybe we can prove your signature was forged or show a different IP address. But that's no small task if your opponent covered his tracks. My shoulders sag. Marcus's network is huge. He's not careless. Margaret folds up her notes. We'll do what we can, but you need to be prepared. If the judge denies bail, you could stay here until the trial is over. A tear slips down my cheek before I manage to brush it away. I won't give up, I say, my voice small but determined. She stands, regarding me with an odd mix of pity and respect. If Jacob or his investigators find anything useful, we'll use it. Until then, brace yourself. I watch her leave, a hollow ache filling my chest. The guard motions me back to the block. My mind spins with the nightmare scenario. Months or years of prison time, a vicious trial, everyone believing I'm a murderer. But as I shuffle through the dim corridor, I clutch a single truth to my heart. I'm innocent, and I won't let Marcus win. That promise is all I have left.
He's the mysterious man I had a fling with last night, and it turns out he's my dad's new boss.
I was getting IVF, but the donor came in and wanted his stuff back. It was too late. Now we're stuck together and I'm having his baby. But he's fine, so let's see where this goes.
Ready to dive into a world where passion meets intrigue, where love knows no bounds.
If I don't find a woman to marry in the next 24 hours, then my entire company is going to be taken from me. There's only one woman I can ask, but she hates me because I ruined her father.
Introducing the Escape Your Life with Romance book bundle by Amazon best-selling author Nyla Walker, a collection of 100 standalone romances that promise to sweep you off your feet. And the best part?
90% off on the whole bundle, baby.
For $59.99, you'll get over 500 hours of pure romance with strong alpha males and sassy women who don't back down.
They can pass all the tariffs they want, ladies. But you won't find this deal for 100 books for 59 cents a book anywhere else.
Less than $1 per book for all the dirty fun I can handle?
Visit TylaWalker.com to grab this bundle today.
Get ready to escape your life.
With Miss Nyla.
Chapter 3, 109. Jacob. I'm in my office, staring at the city lights through tinted glass, but all I see is the warehouse floor, a memory that keeps crashing back into my mind. That night, I fought Nyla's father, Marcus, pinning him under me as he laughed in that cold, soulless way. Blood drenched my shirt from the bullet graze on my shoulder, adrenaline roaring in my veins as I demanded he confess to orchestrating my parents' deaths. But he twisted everything, making me question whether I'd been aiming my gun at the wrong person all along. I close my eyes and it unfolds again. The gravel under my boots. Marcus's mocking grin. My mother's terrified voice crackling through his phone. "Marcus, please help me. I think Nyla's going to kill me." The funeral wreath receipt with Nyla's perfect signature. The grainy toll booth photo showing Nyla's car on the Long Island Expressway at the exact time my parents' vehicle crashed. A suspicious car accident, allegedly tampered with. And Marcus planted all those seeds of doubt in my head. Seeds I can't stop from growing. I rub a hand over my face, trying to banish the mental replay. If I let it consume me, I'll lose the fragile grip I have on reality. My phone vibrates on the desk, lighting up with half a dozen new texts. From Derek, from PR staff, from anxious doctors wanting reassurance about the rumors swirling around. Everyone wants to know what I'm going to do about the Nyla scandal and the protest outside. My screen shows a security feed. A crowd lines the sidewalk, brandishing signs that read, "Justice for the Stone family and no mercy for Nyla." It's been like this for weeks, ever since law enforcement arrested Nyla on suspicion of sabotaging my parents' car. That night, She apparently left my bed, without my knowing, and ended up on that toll booth camera. Or so the official story goes. God, Nyla. I drop into my seat, my chest aches imagining her rotting in a cell. She was named caretaker CEO after she toppled the board last season, thanks to controlling Neuromax shares. Then my parents died in that accident, and everything changed. The board scrambled to fill her vacant seat once she was arrested, so they dragged me back as a temporary figurehead to stabilize Stone Hospital. But now, everything's collapsing. I pinch the bridge of my nose. The donors, the staff, the protesters, the press. They all want me to denounce Nyla or step aside. How can I reconcile that with my memories of her warmth and empathy? She was tender, passionate, nothing like the ruthless murderer Marcus claims. Yet the damning receipts, the funeral wreath, my mother's phone message, the toll booth footage, hound me with the possibility I've been blind. A knock on the door. Jacob, Derek's voice. They're waiting in the boardroom. I exhale and stand, smoothing my suit jacket. This is the emergency meeting. They want me to address the rumors, the battered donations. They might want me gone. Fine. Let them do their worst. I yank open the door. Derek stands there, dark circles under his eyes. You okay? He asks quietly. No, I admit, stepping past him. But let's get this over with. We walk along the polished tile corridor, passing nurses and administrative staff. A hush falls wherever I go. Some staff glare, some look pitying. This used to be Nyla's domain. She brought progress and optimism. Now it feels like a morgue. Everyone's reeling from the suspicion that she rigged a car to kill my parents. Derek scrolls his phone. Security says the protest is bigger than last week. They have signs accusing you of covering up for a murderous fiancé. They're chanting your name. I can practically hear it. Jacob Stone is complicit. Stone Hospital is corrupt. I grit my teeth. I'm not covering up anything, I mutter. I want the truth. That's not how the public sees it. Derek's tone is apologetic. They think you're naive or an accomplice to sabotage. The hush grows deeper as we approach the boardroom. 2 security guards open the doors. I step inside to find a crowded table. 11 board members, several senior managers. A few new faces replaced old ones who resigned after last season's fiasco. My sister, Julia Stone, sits near the front, fiddling with a fountain pen. She looks up, meeting my gaze with a mix of pity and concern. I swallow hard. I was only caretaker because Nyla got arrested. Now they probably want to remove me, too. Jacob, Thompson, a longtime board member, says. Thanks for coming. His voice is formal. We need to talk about next steps. The press coverage is relentless, and donors are pulling out in droves. Julia gestures at a stack of folders. We've lost nearly 40% of philanthropic pledges for next quarter. Patients are transferring to Mercy General. They say they can't trust an institution marred by scandal, especially if it's associated with a Stone, and a Stone fiancé who's a suspected killer. I drop into a chair, ignoring the uneasy glances around me. What do you want me to do? My tone comes out sharper than intended. A short woman named Harriet clears her throat. We need a formal statement. You've barely addressed the allegations that Miss Thomas sabotaged your parents' car. I spread my hands, frustration rising. What do you expect me to say? Nyla's behind bars, facing trial for a crime I'm not sure she committed. The so-called evidence is questionable. Is it questionable? Thompson cuts in. We've seen the toll booth footage, the funeral wreath receipt, your mother's message. It's out there. A pounding headache builds behind my eyes. Marcus is manipulative. He could have faked half of it. I can't condemn her just because the tabloids want blood. How can any of you believe a man who spent months faking his own death? Tension crackles across the table. Another man, Jefferson, leans forward. Jacob, the public sees a gold-digging nurse who used you, staged an accident that killed your parents, and seized Stone Hospital. Then, ironically, she got arrested after achieving that power. The outcry is that Stone Hospital let it happen, and the place is corrupt. My stomach twists. She didn't forcibly ascend, I mumble. She had controlling shares. She was recognized as CEO. Thompson raises a hand. We're not rehashing the past. The hospital won't survive this scandal if you remain our figurehead. The public associates Stone with the entire fiasco. My pulse spikes with dread. So you want me out? Silence grips the room. Julia's gaze flicks to Harriet. Harriet avoids eye contact. Finally, Julia speaks, her voice laced with regret. We think it's best for the hospital if you step aside, at least for now. You only took over after Nyla's arrest. But donors are demanding a fresh face, someone unrelated to Nyla's drama. I stare at the table, rage and heartbreak tangling in my chest. I stepped in to keep this place running, I say tightly. It was never about power. An older board member nods sympathetically. We know that, Jacob. But the brand can't take more hits. The Stone name has become synonymous with scandal. The sabotage accident, Nyla's imprisonment, your father-in-law's reappearances, it's overshadowing our mission. I want to retort that Marcus is Nyla's father, not mine, but I hold my tongue. Instead, I say hoarsely, so you're sure me stepping down will fix the PR nightmare? At least it'll show we're distancing ourselves from the fiasco, Harriet says gently. The protest outside demands you step aside. They're literally chanting for your removal. I glance at Derek, who stands near the wall, arms folded. His expression is sympathetic but resigned. He must have known this was coming. A slow breath leaves my lungs, my heart clenched. Fine, I whisper. I'll announce I'm stepping down, but I refuse to denounce Nyla. Jefferson scowls. That might not satisfy the public. They want... I shoot him a glare. I won't condemn her based on possibly forged evidence. If you're looking for a scapegoat, find someone else. He leans back, crossing his arms, but says nothing. The others exchange glances. Julia's voice is gentle. We'll arrange a small press conference, let you step down gracefully, and I'll take over as CEO in the meantime. I'm the only Stone left without a direct link to Nyla. My gut clenches at the irony. My sister forced to lead a hospital nobody wants to be associated with. One statement, I say, voice trembling. Then I'm gone. I can't stay here if everyone thinks my fiancé. I pause at the weight of the word. Killed my parents. Harriet clears her throat. Is the meeting adjourned? No one objects. They rise to file out. Derek hesitates, but I hold up a hand. Give me a minute. He nods and steps out, shutting the door behind him. When the room's empty, I slump into my chair, my phone in my hand. So many swirling headlines, none of them definitive, but all painting Nyla as a cunning saboteur. Marcus cornered me at that warehouse, brandishing evidence. My mother's frantic message, the toll booth photo, the funeral wreath purchase. Is it all forged or half true? My mind loops back. Nyla was with me that night. Mostly. But I woke up alone, and she was gone. Did she slip out to sabotage my parents' car? I hate this. She was so caring. She's hated Marcus from day one. Why would she team up with him? Or is he just framing her? Suddenly the door cracks open. Julia pokes her head inside, looking apologetic. Sorry, she murmurs. Forgot my binder. I shove the phone away. It's all right. Go ahead. She retrieves the binder from the conference table, then hesitates, her eyes darting to me. Jacob, I'm sorry about this. I know you only took the reins because Nyla was in jail. A sad laugh escapes me. Let's be honest, I was never truly in charge. I just tried to keep the place afloat. Julia's cheeks color faintly. The board's right, though. You're a lightning rod for scandal right now. Donors demand a new CEO. I wish it didn't have to be me, but they insisted a Stone with the least connection to Nyla is our best bet. And that happens to be me. I manage a small, bitter smile. Don't apologize. The hospital's in crisis. You're doing what you have to. She bites her lip. For what it's worth, I don't see Nyla as a killer. She always struck me as sincere, if a little intense. But the evidence freaks everyone out. My throat tightens. Thanks for that. No one else is giving her the benefit of the doubt. Julia touches my arm. If you need anything, just ask, and I hope we find the truth. Me too, I whisper. She leaves, and I'm alone again with my roaring thoughts. I cross to my own office next door. Derek's there, a typed page in his hand. I drafted something, he says. You can read it at the press conference. I scan it quickly. Jacob Stone is stepping down from caretaker CEO duties to prevent further damage to the hospital's reputation. Julia Stone will assume the role of CEO, effective immediately. Jacob Stone refuses to condemn Miss Nyla Thomas without a fair trial. Looks fine, I murmur. The part about Nyla is brief, just enough to show I'm not publicly accusing her. Let's do it. Derek nods. Lobby's full of reporters. You want a canda? I shake my head. Hell no. I'll read this, wave them off, and leave. Nothing else to say. He exhales. Right, let's go then. We ride the elevator down to the lobby. My gut churns the entire way. Outside the sliding doors, I hear the press clamoring, the faint rattle of cameras, the crowd chanting. My heart thrums like a drumbeat. When we exit, the hospital security forms a corridor leading to a small podium. Journalists stand behind barricades, cameras pointed at me. A hush settles as I approach. The overhead lights glare in my face. I set Derek's sheet on the podium. Good afternoon, I begin. Jacob Stone here. As you know, I've been acting as caretaker CEO of Stone Hospital Group after Nyla Thomas's arrest. However, in light of the ongoing investigations and the uproar over my family name, I've decided to step down from this temporary position, effective immediately. Flashes go off like staccato lightning. Voices ring out. Mr. Stone, do you still claim Miss Thomas is innocent? Have you seen the funeral wreath receipt? Is it true you were engaged? I ignore them, pressing on. My sister, Julia Stone, will assume the role of CEO. Stone Hospital's mission is saving lives, not drowning in scandal. I refuse to let this fiasco overshadow the work our healthcare professionals do every day. Reporters clamor, a cacophony of shouts. Jacob, what about the sabotage allegations? Is Nyla Thomas a murderer? I raise my voice over the din. My parents died in a tragic car accident. Investigators suspect sabotage. If Miss Thomas is responsible, justice must be served. But she deserves a fair, thorough investigation. I won't condemn her based on unverified claims. That's all I have to say. Even louder shouting erupts. Are you personally funding her defense? Do you have proof the toll booth footage is forged? What about Julia Stone's qualifications? My chest tightens. No more questions. I snap, stepping back. Security surges in, holding them at bay as I make a beeline for a side corridor. My pulse thunders. I feel smothered by the onslaught. Derek follows, glancing worriedly at me. A private hallway takes us to a rear exit. Even here, I can hear the protests roar. Once outside, I see the throng is bigger than ever, signs held aloft. Murder enabler! Stone Empire must fall! Justice for Hilda and William. My shoulders tense. Security forms a human barrier, letting me slip into my car. The crowd's fury rattles the windows. This is what my last name has become. If I'd known how dark this would get, I'd have walked away months ago. I spot a sign reading nurse or murderer. You decide. Next to it, pictures of my mother and Nyla pinned side by side. My stomach roils. Derek opens the passenger door. Let me drive, he insists, seeing my trembling hands. Fine, I mutter, climbing in. My mind is overloaded, my body physically buzzing from adrenaline. We pull out, weaving through the chanting mob. Some protesters slap the hood, hurling accusations I can't even decipher through the closed windows. At last, we break free, speeding away down the main road. After minutes of silence, Derek clears his throat. So, now that you're out, what's next? Lie low? Focus on the sabotage evidence? I have no choice, I say hollowly. I can't let Nyla rot if she's innocent, but the so-called evidence is stacked against her. The toll booth photo, the funeral wreath, my mother's message. I feel dizzy just listing them. Derek nods grimly. We know Marcus can orchestrate forgeries, but if the audio is legit, if the toll booth image is genuine, it complicates everything. Any luck verifying them? I clench my jaw. My PI found that my condo's security footage from that night is long overwritten. The cops claim her phone GPS put her across town, which conflicts with the toll booth photo. Contradiction means either the phone data or the toll booth photo is a lie. Derek exhales. Could be Marcus again or someone else with a stake. We have to look deeper. Locate the original store clerk for the funeral wreath. See if that signature was faked. Check the phone company logs for tampering. I nod. There must be a crack. If I can find it, Nyla might go free. Derek drops me at my penthouse. We park in the underground garage, and I catch a glimpse of myself in a polished elevator door. I'm disheveled, eyes bloodshot, shoulders slumped like a man who hasn't slept well in days. Call me if anything comes up, I tell Derek quietly. Thanks for everything. He pats my shoulder. Hang in there. I ride the elevator up. My mind replays the confrontation with Marcus, his smugness. Where was she the night they died? Over and over, I picture my mother's trembling voice on that recording. Maybe you can reason with her. She'll stop at nothing. Ding. The elevator opens and I enter my dark penthouse. Stacks of papers crowd the coffee table. Crash site photos, coroner statements, the police's sabotage report. My parents' photos stare at me from the top, a snapshot of them laughing at some long-ago Stone family party. Now they're gone, courtesy of a car accident that might have been homicide. I collapse onto the couch, bury my face in my hands. Everything is unraveling, and my only anchor was Nyla's love. Now that too might be a lie. Could she have left my bed to sabotage my parents' breaks? The question festers in my chest, poisoning each breath. But then I remember her softness, her unstoppable drive to help patients, her hatred for her father's twisted schemes. Could she truly follow in Marcus's footsteps? I grab the photo of Nyla and me in Central Park from the table. I study her radiant smile and the way she's leaning into me. The notion that she's a murderer just doesn't connect. My phone buzzes. I snatch it up, hoping for Nyla's lawyer. Instead, it's Lori. Checked on Nyla. She's miserable, but holding on. The lawyer's pushing a plea. She refuses. She's certain she'll be proven innocent. Thought you should know. A painful sigh escapes me. I type back, thank you. Keep me posted. Then my phone slips from my hand. If she were guilty, maybe she'd jump at a plea. Or maybe she's gambling for a better deal. My mind aches with the question. I stand, pacing. I can't keep drifting in confusion. I rummage through the coroner's analysis, the police timeline, the copy of my mother's audio. Over the next hours, I scan them into my laptop, sending everything to a contact named Andrea, an ex-Stone legal team investigator. Please see if there's any sign of tampering or forgery, I plead in my email. By the time I finish, it's nearly 3 a.m. My eyes are gritty. I slump on the couch, the city skyline glittering outside, a mocking contrast to my turmoil. Mom, I whisper to the empty room, why did you think Nyla would kill you? Were you just paranoid? Or was it real? She'd called Nyla an opportunistic nurse. But did she really believe she'd commit murder? Possibly, yes. Or maybe Marcus coerced her into saying so. I have no answers. Eventually, exhaustion wins and I let my eyes slip shut. Morning arrives in a wash of hazy light spilling over my couch. I sit up, neck stiff. The first thing I see is the photo of me and Nyla, next to the sabotage accident report. Two worlds colliding. Phone on the table buzzes. I snatch it, heart pounding. Hello? Jacob, it's Detective Malloy, rumbles a familiar voice. I'd roped him in to recheck the crash data. Got something interesting. The toll booth footage that supposedly shows Miss Thomas? I spotted anomalies in the metadata. Frame skipping, odd timestamps. Could be random glitching or tampering. I surge upright. So it might be fake? Or doctored, Malloy replies cautiously. No proof yet, but it's enough to cast doubt. Keep your hopes in check, though. I'll keep digging. Thank you, I breathe. Hope sparks in my chest. If the toll booth shot is doctored, maybe the rest. Funeral wreath purchase, phone message was also manipulated. If that's the case, Nyla's rotting in prison for a crime she didn't commit. I gather the scattered files, pushing them into neat piles. I might be out of Stone Hospital now. Julia's the new CEO. But for once I feel clarity. The board can handle the hospital's PR meltdown. My priority is exposing the truth of my parents' crash and freeing Nyla if she's innocent. A text from Derek pings. We miss you. Protest hasn't calmed. Heard rumors about tampered footage. Any luck? I reply instantly. Yes, possibly. Let's talk in an hour. I stare at the city through the window, light creeping across the skyline. That choking sense of doubt that's plagued me for days eases just a bit. If we can prove the footage is forged, we unravel Marcus's entire web. Maybe Nyla never left my bed for anything sinister. Maybe she's exactly who I thought she was. And if that's true, I refuse to let her languish in prison. Marcus wants me to believe she's evil, but I won't give him the satisfaction. He's cunning enough to stage all this evidence. I slip the suspicious toll booth photo into a folder, phone in hand. I text Derek a second time. Meet me at my old condo in 30. Bring your laptop kit. We'll dissect every second of that footage. His reply comes fast. On my way. I pocket my phone, heading out of the penthouse. My heart twinges at the memory of my parents, gone before they could see me exonerate Nyla. But maybe in clearing her, I can honor them too. I'll expose the real culprit if it's Marcus or someone else in the shadows. No more caretaker roles, no more half measures. I'm going to war for the truth. Illusions be damned. I press the elevator button, my veins coursing with renewed purpose. As it descends, I close my eyes, inhaling slowly. Nyla, hold on. I vow in silence. I'm coming for you. I won't stop until you're free.
You know that feeling when a book pulls you in, wraps around you, and refuses to let go? When the tension is so thick, you swear you can feel it?
Welcome to 30 sinfully addictive romance audiobooks that will ruin your sleep.
Wow, I wasn't ready for this. One chapter in, and I'm already hooked.
Oh, you thought this was just another audiobook collection. No, sweetheart. This is the Dirty 30. Forbidden love, dangerous desires, billionaires with secrets, bad boys who bite back. And every last word is dripped in temptation.
I thought I could just listen to one chapter before bed. Now it's 2 a.m. and I need answers. Need.
So what are you waiting for? Click the link. Start listening. Let the Dirty 30 ruin you in the best way possible.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla. Chapter 3, 110. Nyla. I stand in the stale air of the prison yard, the sun beating down on cracked concrete, the fence ringed with razor wire overhead. The guard shouts that we have 20 minutes left before we're herded back inside, and already I can feel the tension radiating off every woman here. Some pass the time doing push-ups or walking laps. Others cluster in corners to whisper their secrets or pass contraband. A few watch me, eyes flickering with curiosity or outright hostility. I'm still getting used to being watched so intently, as if I'm some trophy attraction. That's the one who murdered the Stone bigwigs, they say. Or that nurse lady who's been all over the news. Guess she didn't nurse those people enough. The tabloids call me cunning, manipulative, a black widow. But that's not the truth. At least not as I know it. Maybe the entire outside world sees me as a villain, but I'm still me. Nyla Thomas, stuck behind these fences for a crime I didn't commit. My bunkmate, Jo, stands near me with her arms crossed. Jo's tall, lean muscle wrapped in a prison-issue jumpsuit. Short black hair shaved close at the nape of her neck. She eyes a few other inmates warily. "They're scoping you out again," she says under her breath. I follow her gaze to a cluster of women under the meager shade of the yard wall. One of them flicks her cigarette to the ground and crushes it underfoot, never taking her eyes off me. I've learned her name is Marnie. Word is, Marnie's not a fan of so-called rich witches. She apparently sees me as just that, a wealthy nurse who soared to the top of Stone Hospital. I sigh. Let them watch, I say, though my stomach clenches. The rumor mill's unstoppable. Jo grunts. Remember what I said. Watch your back. Some people want bragging rights for taking down the Stone murderess. She says that last phrase with heavy sarcasm, rolling her eyes. Jo's one of the few who actually believes me when I say I'm innocent. Thanks, I murmur, grateful for her presence. A guard's whistle shrieks, signaling our yard time is over. We file toward the heavy steel doors that lead us back inside. The heat of the day meets the ice-cold interior like a clash of worlds. My skin prickles with goosebumps. As I shuffle toward my cell in line with the other inmates, a female guard calls out from behind. "Thomas, you got a visitor. Hurry up." My heart leaps, thinking maybe Jacob has decided to risk the paparazzi frenzy. But common sense tamps down that hope. He can't just stroll in here without triggering a media feeding frenzy. It's more likely my lawyer. The guard directs me down a side corridor to the visitation booth. My pulse speeds up anyway. Could be Lori. Could be a lead on my case. The bubble of anticipation is all that keeps me from drowning in dread. When we reach the glass partition room, I see Margaret Ross, my lawyer, sitting stiffly in the chair, a small stack of files on the table before her. So it isn't Jacob, but at least it's someone fighting for me. "Sit," the guard commands, motioning to the plastic seat across from Margaret. I do, and the door slams behind me with an echo. I pick up the phone that's connected through the partition. Margaret does the same, looking at me with an impassive face that's edged by worry. "Nyla," she greets, voice subdued. "How are you holding up?" I exhale, pressing the phone to my ear. "I've been better. Any new developments?" She lowers her gaze. "I've been in contact with the DA's office. They're still pushing for a quick trial." She flips through her notes. "They claim they have enough evidence to secure a conviction." My stomach sinks. Of course they do. I say it bitterly, picturing Marcus's forged or partly forged evidence. What about the forensics? Margaret's lips tighten. We're trying to authenticate or debunk the toll booth footage and the funeral wreath receipt. But this kind of analysis takes time. Right now, the prosecution has the advantage of public opinion. The entire city's out for blood. I bite my lips so hard I taste a hint of copper. So they want to bury me fast. Great. Did you get anywhere with the phone message? The one from Hilda Stone? Her expression darkens. That's trickier. The recording is old, apparently, and the metadata is inconclusive. Without direct proof it was tampered with, the DA will treat it as legitimate testimony from beyond the grave. Damn it, I mutter. And the plea bargain? She flips a page. They're offering the same deal. Second-degree murder or manslaughter if you confess to knowingly sabotaging the Stones' car. You'd face 20 to 30 years, with a chance at parole after 15 maybe. No. I cut in, voice shaking with fury. I'm not copping to a lie. I won't spend my life rotting for something I didn't do. Margaret regards me steadily. I expected that. But as your counsel, I must warn you. The evidence is stacked. If a jury believes the toll booth photo, the funeral wreath receipt, and the voice message, you could face life without parole. Pain stabs through my chest. I remind myself I have to stay strong. Marcus set me up. I whisper, teeth clenched. I'm not giving him the satisfaction of confessing. Her eyes flick with sympathy. I'll keep fighting. We've lined up some forensic experts who might poke holes in the prosecution's timeline. But there's no guarantee how soon we'll get results. I breathe out, tears pricking the corners of my eyes. Thank you, I murmur. I appreciate everything you're doing. She nods, reaching into her file. There's another matter. The media is relentless, calling you a cunning gold digger who orchestrated a hospital takeover and killed for power. If we had at least one strong alibi. I let out a humorless laugh. I was with Jacob that night, but I left at dawn. It's my word against that damning camera shot. She sighs. Keep thinking if there's any detail that can confirm your whereabouts. We need every shred of evidence. Believe me, I'm trying, I say, the sense of hopelessness crawling up my spine. The guard raps on the glass from behind Margaret, signaling our time is nearly up. Margaret collects her documents, eyes me with concern. I'll be back as soon as I can. Until then, keep your guard up. I want to laugh at the absurdity of that statement. Keep my guard up? Where do I even start? But instead, I say softly, Thanks, Margaret. The phone clicks, and the line goes dead. The guard opens the door and I'm led away, my mind churning with the same old questions. What if they never find that missing proof? They return me to general population, and I slip back into my cell. Cell 16, the place I share with Jo. She's stretched out on the lower bunk, reading a tattered paperback. She glances up. How'd it go? I collapse onto the top bunk, pressing an arm over my eyes. Same old story. No breakthroughs. They're pushing me to take a deal. That's how it always is, Jo grumbles. The system wants you to plead. Makes it tidy. Doesn't matter if you actually did it or not. A pain hits my chest. Yeah, well, I can't do it. I refuse. Jo flips a page in her book. Good. Means you still got some fight left in you. She cocks an eyebrow. Long as you're ready for the consequences. I muster a small smile. I am. A few cells down, I hear a scuffle. Shouting, a thud, then a guard bellowing for order. Tension's been thick lately with new arrivals mixing up the cell block's pecking order. Some inmates are waiting for me to slip up so they can take me down a peg. I've already had to watch my back more than once. Later, at mealtime, Jo and I enter the cafeteria for our usual bland meal. Today's special is watery beans, some questionable chunk of meat, and stale bread. My stomach's churning, as if I'm about to vomit. The stress is getting to me, but I force myself to eat, willing my stomach to accept it because I need the energy. I continue to keep my head down, but I sense stares from every direction. A few women whisper, a few more openly glare. We find seats at a table near the corner. Across from me sits a wiry woman with short curls and a bright scar across her jaw. She eyes me, then speaks in a hushed tone. So, Stone Lady, is it true you killed the biggest boss in Pharmaland? I frown, feeling the stares intensify. No, it's not. And I didn't kill anyone. She smirks. Word is, you took out your fiancé's parents. Mega wealthy hospital owners. Everyone in here's talking. Some of the girls think it's badass. She shrugs. Rich folks stepping on us all the time. If you took some out, they say, good for you. My stomach turns. It's not like that. I didn't do it. The woman shrugs. I get it. Denial's a normal tactic. Anyway, I'm Jade. She nods to a tough-looking woman next to her, arms covered in faded tattoos. That's Constance. We don't bite if you mind your business. Joe nudges me. They're not all bad. Jade was telling me earlier how she robbed a bank to pay for her kids' medical bills. Joe flicks a glance at Jade. You mind me saying that? Jade shrugs again. Doesn't matter. Everyone knows my story. I was desperate. Tried to get fast cash for surgery my little girl needed. Didn't end well, but my daughter got the help she needs. Plenty of people to help you if it's for a good cause. She glances around. And here, I get free meals, right? Her laugh is bitter. What about you, nurse? I stammer. I was a nurse, yes. But I got entangled in Stone Hospital's politics. That's an understatement, I think wryly. Another woman who's been eavesdropping pipes up. I heard you iced your fiancé's folks just so you could run the hospital. Then it all backfired. I bristle. That's not what happened. Jade leans forward, interest flashing in her eyes. So you're telling me you had nothing to do with your fiancé's parents' car sabotage? Then who did? I feel the swirl of frustration building. I was framed by Marcus, my father, though not by choice. He's the real snake, but no one believes me. The woman next to Jade, Constance, snorts. They rarely do. Systems rigged against us. If your fancy lawyers can't fix it, good luck. I sigh, letting my spoon clatter onto my tray. Yeah, I know. Silence stretches, broken only by the clank of trays and the drone of the overhead lights. Finally, Jade nudges me gently. Hey, for what it's worth, a lot of us in here ended up behind bars because we got no help from fancy hospitals or big money folks. If you did kill them, some say more power to you for taking out a corrupt system. A wave of discomfort floods me. Stone Hospital wasn't always corrupt. Sure, it had problems, but we tried to do good for people who couldn't afford care. There was more I wanted to fix. My voice catches. Now, though, I can't do anything from in here. I'm worthless. Jade's expression softens. That's the system for you. Lock you up when you might actually help. Joe picks at her meal, eyes flicking from me to Jade. All right, enough gloom. Let's finish eating before they wrangle us back. I push the watery beans around my plate. Appetite gone. Stone Hospital can do better. I vow that if I ever see the outside again, I'll do whatever it takes to make it a place that truly helps people like Jade and Constance, who were so desperate they turned to crime. But right now I'm stuck, powerless, my life on the line. After we dump our trays, we have a few minutes before being herded back to our cells. Joe and I are stopped by a slight woman with downcast eyes who's lingering near the cafeteria's exit. She tugs at my sleeve. You're Nurse Nyla, right? She whispers, voice trembling. I heard rumors you had it out with big hospital folks. I nod slowly. Name's Nyla Thomas. And you are? Her gaze flicks around. Lisa, she says faintly. I'm here for killing a doctor who performed malpractice on my parents. They died from complications and he never even apologized. Her jaw works, tears brimming. I confronted him. He laughed me off, said it was the risk they took, so She looks away. I snapped. My throat tightens. The raw pain on her face is undeniable. I'm sorry, I say quietly. That's awful. She nods, tears slipping down her cheeks. I didn't plan to kill him, but I shoved him. He fell wrong, cracked his head. They called it manslaughter. Next thing I knew, I was locked away. She grips my wrist. I just want you to know. If you did kill those big stone folks, I don't blame you. Sometimes the system is so unfair, you can't breathe. My eyes sting. I wish I could assure her that I didn't kill anyone, that violence isn't the answer. But she's looking for empathy, not a lecture. I'm sorry for your parents, I say gently. It's not right what happened to them. She releases my wrist, head bowed. Anyway, good luck, I guess. She shuffles away, disappearing into the throng of inmates heading for the cell block. I stand there for a moment, a hollow ache in my chest. So many people here with heartbreaking stories, lives twisted by injustice or neglect. It only reinforces my desire to fix Stone Hospital if I ever get out. A place that's truly for the people, so they don't have to resort to desperate measures. That afternoon, after a short break in my cell, a guard appears again. Thomas, another visitor, now. Her tone is clipped, eyes full of the usual prison guard indifference. Again? I mutter, following her out. I wonder if Margaret came back, or if Lori managed a second visit. But a jolt of dread hits me at the possibility it might be Trixa, or worse, Marcus. Sure enough, when I step into the visiting booth and see who's seated beyond the glass, my stomach clenches. Trixa Swan, wearing a stylish blouse and pencil skirt, her hair swept back in a meticulously arranged chignon. She looks composed, a subtle triumph in her eyes. I sit and pick up the receiver, every muscle tense. What do you want? I snap, not bothering with pleasantries. Her lips curl in a faint smirk. Hello to you too, sister. The last word drips sarcasm. Trixa crosses her legs, a coy gesture. Marcus told me you were rotting in here. I decided to see it for myself. My grip on the phone tightens. I'm not your sister. If you're here to gloat, do it fast and leave. She arches an eyebrow, unruffled. Is that any way to greet the only daughter of Marcus? Because that's what I am now, you know. He's washed his hands of you, left you to face the consequences of your foolish ambitions. My heart thrums with anger. He can keep you. Do you really think that man cares about either of us? He's using you until you're no longer useful. She flinches slightly but masks it. Marcus and I have an understanding. Unlike you, I know how to play the game. He gave me the resources to stand on my own. Now Stone Hospital is devouring itself. You're locked up, and I remain free. I let out a short, bitter laugh. You think that means you've won? Wait until Marcus decides you're a liability. He'll drop you faster than he dropped me. Trixa's eyes flick with something, pain maybe or doubt, before she smooths her expression. I'm not naive. Our Father sees my worth. That's more than he ever saw in you. Or maybe you never had it, dear sister. Sister, I repeat scornfully. You can parrot that word all you like, but the only thing we share is an unfortunate link to that snake. And trust me, if you think you're special, you're delusional. Her face hardens. I'm special enough that he's told me everything. He says you sabotaged the Stone family's car, leaving him to watch your downfall, that you sealed your fate out of greed. A surge of fury rushes to my throat. Nonsense. I had no reason to kill them. Marcus is behind all this. He's orchestrating the sabotage and forging the evidence. She lifts a manicured hand dismissively. Classic denial. Her voice wavers, though. She's not as confident as she pretends. I can sense it. I lean forward, voice dropping. Why are you really here, Trixa? To reassure yourself that I'm locked up? That your father's plan is going smoothly? I let my gaze rake over her. Or maybe you're here because you're afraid. Afraid that if I find a way out, Marcus's house of cards collapses. Her expression flickers with genuine emotion. Fear, regret, I'm not sure. Then she steels herself. You have no way out. The evidence is overwhelming. The public wants your head. Even your fiancé stepping down from Stone Hospital can't help you. Marcus has seen to that. Jacob. I swallow a surge of pain at the mention of him. Jacob will figure out the truth, I say firmly. He's not giving up on me. He never will. She scoffs. He's a stone. He'll do whatever the board wants eventually. I let out a harsh breath. You're pathetic, Trixa. You're chasing after a father who's never loved anyone but himself. The moment you become inconvenient, he'll feed you to the wolves. Trixa presses her lips together, eyes glimmering with frustration. Shut up. You know nothing about my relationship with him. He trusts me. He's proud of me for accomplishing what you failed to do. I narrow my eyes. So what? You're dancing around on his puppet strings? Congratulations. He probably told you to come here, see if I'd break. Or was this your own attempt to feel secure about your place in his twisted little empire? For a moment, Trixa's facade slips, her cheeks flush, and her jaw tightens. I wanted to see if you were pitiful. And you are. She tries to draw breath steadily. I guess you've realized your big power grab ended behind bars. Meanwhile, I'm free. Her bravado only cements my certainty that she's uneasy. Then go, I say, voice cold. Enjoy your so-called freedom with the father who faked his death, framed me, and murdered how many others along the way. One day you'll realize exactly who you're aligning with. She stares me down, fury blazing in her eyes. You're the one who's delusional. Rot here for all I care. But the tremor in her voice suggests otherwise. I deliver my final barb. You came here hoping to see me broken, so you could feel safe. But you know Marcus's favor is fickle. The second you displease him, you'll be right where I am. Or worse. Trixa's fist clenches around the phone. For a second, I think she might shout or slam it down. Instead, she musters a regal sneer. Keep dreaming, sister. This is the last time I bother with you. She hangs up on her end, the line going dead with a harsh click. I sit there, breathing heavily, my heart pounding. The guard taps the glass. Impatient. I set down the phone, stepping back from the partition as Trixa collects her purse and leaves in a swirl of tension. The guard escorts me back to the cell block. My pulse is still racing from that confrontation. I can't decide if I feel enraged or oddly victorious, having rattled Trixa's composure. She wanted to see me cower, but I refused. As we pass by a row of cells, a few inmates catch my expression and raise curious eyebrows. I ignore them, mind whirling with Trixa's parting words. He's proud of me for accomplishing what you failed to do. Possibly referencing Stone Hospital's meltdown, or the fact that Trixa's not behind bars. She's so blind if she thinks Marcus truly cares. He's only loyal to himself. Inside cell 16, Jo is perched on the lower bunk, picking at a hangnail. She eyes me up and down. You look like you wrestled a tornado. Let me guess. The visit didn't go so hot. I drop onto the top bunk, exhaling. Trixa. Jo whistles. Your sister or something, right? Thought you said you had no siblings. I press a hand over my eyes. She's technically daughter of Marcus. She's not exactly family in any sense of the word. My voice drips bitterness. Jo hums. She came to rub it in. I huff a mirthless laugh. Basically. I feel the tears threaten but swallow them. She wanted to see me pathetic. Well, I gave her a piece of my mind instead. Jo cocks her head. Good. Show no weakness. People like that feed on it. A swirl of exhaustion overtakes me. Yeah. My limbs feel heavy. The day has been a barrage of emotional hits. My lawyer's bleak update, hearing the heartbreak of other inmates. Trixa's confrontation. But ironically, the more that's thrown at me, the stronger my resolve becomes. I won't let them break me. That night, lying on my thin mattress, I replay everything. The conversation with Margaret, the cafeteria talk with Jade and Lisa, Trixa's twisted bravado, my bunkmate's soft snores from below blend with the distant clang of cell doors and the random shouts echoing through the block. I'm not alone in wanting better health care for desperate people, I realize. Many here ended up behind bars because of systemic failures, medical bills, malpractice, or the hopelessness that drives them to extreme measures. Stone Hospital could do so much more if it was run by people who truly cared, not corporate vultures or manipulative father figures. But all that's just a dream while I'm locked up. My life is on the line. Some call it the trial of the century, with the city baying for my head. I can't fix the hospital or help these inmates until I clear my name, and that might never happen if Marcus's forgeries remain undisputed. Turning my head, I stare at a tiny sliver of moonlight creeping through the barred window. The memory of Trixa's parting shot. He's proud of me, throbs in my mind. Proud of her for what? Lying? Deceiving? Possibly enabling him to keep forging evidence? But Jacob is out there. I cling to that. He said he'd never abandon me. If anyone can expose Marcus's illusions, it's Jacob. The idea soothes me for a moment, even though guilt gnaws at me for relying on him. But we're in this together. That's what he said before I got arrested. I pray it's still true. Somewhere a guard's keys jangle, and the overhead lights dim slightly for lights out. I squeeze my eyes shut, silently hoping tomorrow brings a miracle. Margaret might find a lead. Jacob might discover new evidence. I can't let the cynicism here drown me. Too many in prison have told me that false confessions are the easy path, that the system doesn't care about real innocence. But I must hold on to hope, or I'll crumble. Trixa's words swirl in my head again. He's now my only father. You're nothing. I remind myself that I never wanted Marcus as a father in the first place. He's the poison behind this entire nightmare, and if Trixa keeps dancing to his tune, she'll eventually learn how fatal his manipulations can be. No matter how dark this place gets, I vow I won't break. I have to survive for the sake of justice, for the sake of the dream that Stone Hospital could serve people better, for all the Lisas and Jades out there who turned to crime because the system failed them, and for my own freedom, which I refuse to sacrifice on the altar of Marcus's cunning. My eyes drift shut, the rancid smell of concrete and disinfectant filling my nostrils. In my half-dreams, I picture a future where the bars open, where Jacob stands there with evidence in his hands, telling me it's all over, that I'm free. The woman in that dream is the me I want to be again, hopeful, determined to help others. Tomorrow, I whisper in my heart, we fight again, and I cling to that thread of hope as the night envelopes me. This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
Can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Nyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 3 111 Alexander. The driver pulls the black town car up to the curb, and I glance at my watch. Right on schedule. I step out into the mild evening air, smoothing the lapel of my tailored suit. Laurie's building lobby glows from the inside. Through the glass door, I spot her pacing, occasionally peering outside as if worried she'll miss me. The sight tugs at a corner of my mouth, forming the hint of a smile. It's been a long week for her. Nyla's wrongful arrest and the swirl of negativity around Stone Hospital weigh heavily. I know that tension lines Lori's brow, that her heart is half broken over her friend's predicament. That's exactly why I planned tonight. A night of escape. If I can give her a few hours of magic, perhaps it'll soothe the worry. I step into the lobby. Lori spots me immediately. She's dressed in a sleek, midnight blue dress that hugs her curves and sets off her warm complexion. For a moment, I'm genuinely breathless. She crosses the tile floor in quick strides, her heels tapping softly. "Alexander," she murmurs, relief in her eyes, as if she's grateful to see me. "You're here right on time." "Wouldn't dare keep you waiting," I say, smiling. I lean in to kiss her cheek, and she returns the gesture, letting out a faint sigh that speaks of tension easing. We head out to the waiting car, and I open the door for her. As we settle onto the leather seats, I sense her studying me from the corner of her eye. I catch a glimpse of her reflection in the tinted window. Her brow is slightly furrowed, as if she's still caught between excitement for the evening and worry for her best friend. When the driver pulls into traffic, I reach for Lori's hand. She intertwines our fingers, exhaling softly. "Thank you for this," she says. I needed a distraction." I nod, understanding. "I know you've been coiled tight as a spring, with everything going on." I give her hand a small squeeze. Tonight is about unwinding. No talk of the trial or the hospital, unless you want to. But I hope we can just step away from all that for a few hours. She eyes me, a flicker of gratitude shining. You must be reading my mind. I keep telling myself I should focus on other things, but then I picture Nyla in that cell, and my heart breaks. I run my thumb along her knuckles. We can't free her by worrying alone, I say, gently. You've done all you can, helping her lawyer, checking on her. Tonight, let me take care of you. Her lips part in a trembling smile. All right, she whispers. The city lights swirl past, each neon sign and passing car a kaleidoscope of possibility. I watch Lori gaze out the window. I can guess her train of thought. Part of her is enthralled by the spectacle of New York at night. Part is replaying Nyla's predicament. I shift closer. You look beautiful, I say softly. She blushes, glancing down at her dress. You're not so bad yourself, she says, that playful lilt creeping into her voice. I let out a quiet laugh. I try. Then, in a more serious tone, I want tonight to be perfect. Her eyes flick to mine. Alexander, you don't have to go all out. Really, just being with you is a comfort in itself. Her words warm me, and a flicker of guilt stirs deep in my chest. Because the truth is, I'm also chasing my own distraction. My new position in the family business is precarious. Old guard loyalists question my leadership. New faces jostle for favor. There's tension in nearly every corridor I walk. But I've told Lori nothing about that. She has her own burdens. So I mask the truth behind a confident smile, determined not to dampen the night with my troubles. We arrive at our first destination, a discreet, upscale French restaurant located in a converted brownstone. A single gold plaque near the door displays its name. The hostess greets us warmly, leading us to a corner table dressed in crisp white linen and glowing with candlelight. The soft hum of hushed conversations envelops us. Wine glasses reflect the subtle chandelier light. Lori inhales the aroma of fresh bread and butter, her shoulders visibly relaxing. I pull out her chair, and once we're seated, the sommelier glides over to suggest a pairing for the tasting menu. I observe Lori, noticing the way her eyes sparkle at the mention of delicacies. "You did say you wanted to try the best of the best," I tease lightly, watching her reaction. Her cheeks flush. I was half joking, but this is beyond anything I could imagine. "Are you sure we should do the tasting menu? It might be too expensive." I rest a hand on hers. "Lori, let me pamper you, okay?" She nods, somewhat bashful, but I see the excitement shimmering beneath. We order a curated selection of courses. Soon, the meal unfolds like a sensory experience, amuse-bouche shaped like tiny art sculptures, creamy foie gras with a delicate compote, a perfectly seared duck breast that melts on the tongue. Each dish arrives in a graceful ballet of servers. Throughout the dinner, we share small talk, peppered with genuine interest. I ask about her day, nursing gossip, the latest unit drama. She tries to keep the conversation bright, occasionally faltering when she recalls Nyla's plight. But each time, I steer her gently back to the present. I tell her stories from my childhood, sanitized ones, of course, leaving out the less savory aspects of my father's dealings. She laughs at a tale of me sneaking out as a teen to taste contraband wine, only to be caught by an uncle. Halfway through the meal, Lori's entire face lights up in laughter over a silly anecdote. I catch myself thinking how radiant she looks when she forgets the darkness in her world. This is what I want tonight, to see that spark again. After dinner, we step back into the night, the warm glow of the restaurant replaced by the crisp city air. The driver awaits at the curb, and soon we're off to our next surprise. Lori's expression is curious. "We aren't done?" she asks, a trace of wonder. I grin, the energy of the city pulsing through me. Not even close. We arrive at the Grand Opera House, an imposing building adorned with columns and a sweeping set of steps. Lori's eyes widen. "The opera?" "Alexander, I've never been." I slip my arm around her waist. "Then it's high time," I say, guiding her inside. The gilded lobby and plush red carpeting exude an old-world glamour. Crystal chandeliers reflect in Lori's wide eyes. We find our seats in a private box. As we settle, the overhead lights dim, and the hush of the audience electrifies the air. Lori leans against me, her hand in mine. I watch her face more than I watch the stage at first. Her genuine fascination as the orchestra begins, the singers' voices filling the hall with haunting beauty. For a moment, her expression flickers. No doubt she's remembering Nyla's situation. But the music swells, and her features relax again. Wrapped in the performance, I let out a silent breath of relief. During intermission, we step into the corridor. Soft chatter surrounds us, men in tuxedos and women in evening gowns sipping champagne. Lori's lips part in a quiet sigh of contentment, a slight blush across her cheeks. "This feels like a dream," she admits. "I never imagined I'd be here, like this." I brush a strand of hair from her face. "I want to give you everything you deserve." Her smile is grateful, but it's tinged with a gentle sadness. Everything I deserve includes seeing my best friend out of prison. My chest twinges. I know, I say softly. We'll get her out. Jacob's working on it, Lori. We all are, in our own ways, even if my way mostly means focusing on my own empire. But I vow to use my resources if I can help. She exhales and forces a brave smile, letting me draw her close. Thank you, she whispers, for not letting me drown in sorrow. I lean in, pressing a light kiss to her forehead. This is enough for tonight, I decide. She deserves peace, at least for these few hours. The opera ends with a thunderous ovation. Lori dabs at tears, moved by the tragic final aria. Her face glows with an emotional high. As we exit, I surprise her once more by whisking her to a private lounge not far from the theater. Low lighting, plush sofas, and a jazz trio playing softly in the corner set the mood. We slide into a secluded booth. A bottle of champagne is brought over, the cork popping with a festive note that makes Lori giggle despite herself. She eyes me with affectionate warmth. You planned all this just to cheer me up? I pour her a glass, returning her gaze. I planned it because I like seeing you happy, and because I needed this too, I add inwardly, though I keep that last part quiet. She takes a sip, savoring the bubbles. Soft notes from the trio drift across the lounge, mingling with the hushed chatter of other couples. I settle next to her, letting an arm drape along the seat behind her shoulders. After a few moments of blissful silence, she sets her glass down. Alexander, I have to say, part of me feels guilty for enjoying this, while Nyla's in that cell. I trace a small circle on her bare shoulder with my fingertip. You're not betraying her by living your life, I murmur. You're her friend, not her martyr. You can't help her if you're consumed by misery. She sighs, nodding. You're right, but it's hard. She picks up her glass again, swirling the champagne. I just keep imagining the moment she's free, and we can do a night like this for her, to celebrate. A gentle smile touches my lips. And we will. I promise. She regards me thoughtfully, swirling her glass again. What about you? She asks softly. You took over your family business. Are you happy? You keep giving me these wonderful evenings, but I worry you're hiding some stress. You don't talk about your day much. A fleeting tightness curls in my stomach. She's perceptive, no surprise. My mind flashes to the tensions simmering within the organization. The old loyalists who resent my new approach. The constant threats from external rivals. I want to protect her from it all. But she's giving me that gentle, earnest look, inviting honesty. Still, I lie, if only partially. Things are fine, I say, forcing a bright smile. It's a challenge, sure, but I'm managing. All that matters is we keep moving forward. Her brow furrows slightly. Alexander, it's okay if it's not all perfect. You can tell me. I hesitate, a war inside me. She wants the truth, but I won't drag her into the crosshairs, so I only concede a hint. Let's just say there are older factions in the business who preferred the previous leadership. They test me. Nothing I can't handle, I add quickly, reaching for her hand. She studies me for a long moment, then relents, giving a slow nod. I understand. You're strong, but you don't have to carry it alone. I bring her hand to my lips and place a soft kiss on her knuckles. Thank you, I say quietly, for caring. I promise, if it ever gets too heavy, I'll talk to you. It's as close to the truth as I can manage, and the best I can do to keep her from worrying. For a moment, the weight of my hidden problems churns under my chest. Internal threats, an upcoming meeting with key captains who might question my authority. But the sight of her calm eyes, the warmth in her grip, soothes me. I resolve to keep the gloom at bay for tonight. The jazz trio shifts to a gentle tune. Several couples drift to the small dance floor, swaying in the subdued lighting. I catch Lori glancing that way, a dreamy look crossing her face. Without a word, I stand and offer my hand. She sets her champagne aside and slides from the booth, slipping her fingers into mine. Lead the way, she says softly. On the dance floor, I guide her into a slow sway, my arm around her waist, her hand clasped in mine. The band's saxophone croons a mellow melody, brushed drums creating a romantic hush in the background. Lori rests her head on my shoulder. I feel her exhale, tension slipping away from her body. My cheek brushes her hair. She smells faintly of vanilla and the perfume she wears. Soft, comforting, distinctly Lori. We move in a gentle circle, letting the music cradle us. Her heartbeat thrums against my chest, or maybe it's mine. The lounge lights form a delicate mosaic of shadows and warm glow, turning the world around us into a blur of shapes. I can almost forget the swirling chaos outside these walls. Nyla's trial, the protests, the cutthroat moves among my own family's associates. For a few precious minutes, it's just us. I sense her slipping further into the moment, her eyes half closed, lips curved in the faintest smile. She murmurs softly, "You know, when I woke up this morning, I never imagined I'd be waltzing in some fancy lounge after an opera." I chuckle, my breath grazing her ear. Life's full of surprises. She tilts her head up, meeting my gaze. Her eyes shimmer. "Thank you," she whispers. "I feel lighter." I brush my fingertips along her cheek. That's all I wanted. We continue dancing. My mind drifts, half lulled by the romance of it all, half alert to the knowledge that soon I'll have to return to reality. My lieutenants pestering me about expansions, longtime loyalists whispering that I lack the spine of the old boss. But for now, I push that aside. Let tomorrow handle itself. Lori's arms wrap around my neck. Her closeness, the softness of her body against mine, ignites a gentle warmth. I hold her tighter, swaying in the rhythmic cradle of the music. Eventually, the band segues into a slightly more upbeat tune, but we keep dancing at our own slow pace. I lean in, murmuring into Lori's ear, "You're safe with me." She smiles, eyes drifting shut. "I know." After a moment, she adds, voice hushed, "I hope Nyla feels safe too somehow. Jacob was always her rock, but with everything happening, She shakes her head, tears threatening. "Sorry. I promised not to dwell." I press a soft kiss to her temple. "You don't have to hide your feelings. We'll find a way to help her. Soon." She nods against my shoulder. I just keep praying for a miracle. The conversation hushes as we let the music guide our steps. Her breathing syncs with mine, slower now. The lounge around us has a few more couples dancing, but I feel like we're in our own little world. I imagine the future. Possibly a day where I don't have to constantly watch my back or worry about betrayal from the old guard. A day where Nyla is free and Lori can celebrate with her best friend. The image warms me, but it's fragile, overshadowed by the knowledge that my power rests on a razor's edge. I recall my father's voice echoing from the past, teaching me the old ways. No mercy, no weakness. But I'm forging a new path, or I want to. One that might risk the wrath of those who cling to tradition. I can't tell Lori how many nights I've lost sleep. She deserves better than that burden. And yet, looking at her now, the trust in her eyes, I almost wish I could share everything. Still, I clamp that thought down, for tonight. I protect her from the harshness. Let her keep shining with hope and love, untainted by my organization's darkness. She lifts her head to say something, but the music transitions to another slow track, and the moment shifts, our bodies swaying again. I stroke her hair, marveling at how simple human contact can anchor me. If I keep her by my side, maybe I can endure the chaos.
You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. Everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 3, 112, Lori. I'm still swaying in Alexander's arms when the jazz trio ends their gentle tune, the final notes drifting through the hushed lounge. My heart beats in time with his. I can almost hear it echoing in my ears. A new, more up-tempo piece begins and couples around us shift into livelier dancing. But Alexander and I remain close, locked in our own slow rhythm. He brushes a hand along my cheek. "Everything okay?" he murmurs, voice low. I nod, my lips curving into a small smile. I was just thinking how surreal this night feels, like we stepped into another world. I don't want it to end. His gaze flicks over my face, warm and intent. "It doesn't have to yet," he says quietly. Something in his tone makes my pulse skip. The combination of the intimate lighting, the music, the champagne buzz in my veins, it weaves a heady spell around us. I lean forward, pressing a soft kiss to his jaw. He lets out a faint sigh and cups my waist, guiding me off the dance floor. "Come with me," he says, a hush in his voice that sends shivers racing across my skin. We navigate around the other couples to the lounge's far side, where plush booths curve away from the central dance area. The lighting back here is even dimmer, almost entirely reliant on flickering candles and faint overhead sconces. Alexander finds an unoccupied booth, half shielded by drapery, offering a sense of secrecy from prying eyes. We slip into the semicircular seat. The music throbs softly, distant enough that conversation is private. My senses are on high alert. I feel the warmth of his thigh pressed against mine, the faint hum of excitement in my ears, the knowledge that we're still in public but cloaked by shadows. Alexander drapes an arm along the back of the booth, letting his fingertips graze my shoulder. "Are you comfortable?" he asks, voice low. I nod, resting a hand on his chest. My heart thuds harder when I feel the beat of his. "Yes," I whisper, "but also nervous." His mouth twists into a slight smile. "Me too," he admits, leaning closer, lips brushing the shell of my ear. "But I can't stop thinking about you." The flicker of the candle on the table lights his features in golden shadow. There's a hunger in his eyes that mirrors the flutter in my stomach. God, how can I want him this much here of all places? He presses his forehead to mine, breath warm against my cheek. If you want to leave, say the word, he murmurs. Something sparks in me, an urge to do something daring, to lose myself completely in this moment with him. The tension, the darkness, the muted background music, it all amps up the sense of doing something forbidden. I don't want to leave, I answer, barely above a whisper. His eyes darken with desire and my entire body tingles. We tilt our heads and our mouths meet in a slow, lingering kiss. The taste of champagne still lingers on his tongue, sweet and intoxicating. My pulse races, each throb echoing in my core. I deepen the kiss, letting my hand slide up to his hair. His arms tighten around me. A subtle shift, and I'm half on his lap, the fabric of my dress sliding against his trousers. My breath hitches. I can't ignore the press of him beneath me. I've never done anything like this in a near public space. The knowledge only heightens the thrill. He breaks the kiss, eyes roaming over me. Are you sure? He asks, voice husky. I exhale, trembling. Yes, just be mindful. A small, breathless laugh escapes me. We're not exactly alone. He nods, a roguish grin forming. We can keep quiet. The way he says it suggests a challenge like, can we be discreet enough? We share another intense kiss, this one more searching, more urgent. My fingers curl into his hair, messing up his slick style, and he moans softly against my lips. The booth provides some cover, but the faint possibility of being caught sends adrenaline surging through my veins. He slips a hand along my bare thigh beneath the hem of my dress. My skin prickles with goosebumps. I arch into him, letting the heat between us build. My own inhibitions blur under the haze of desire and champagne. A voice, someone passing by, causes me to tense momentarily, but they continue on, oblivious. I bite my lip, meeting Alexander's gaze in the flickering darkness. He seems to read the swirl of excitement and apprehension in my eyes. Come here, I whisper, tugging him closer. He shifts me fully onto his lap, and I stifle a gasp. My dress rides up, bearing more skin than I'd ever show in public, but the shadowy booth conceals us, mostly. My heart pounds. We should be quiet, I manage, half laughing. He nods, pressing a soft kiss to my jaw, trailing down to my neck. I try to keep my breathing steady, but it's a losing battle. The sensations flood my senses. My own hands begin exploring, loosening his tie, feeling the warmth of his skin through his shirt. His lips brush my ear. Lori, he breathes a world of longing in that single word. I swallow hard, the friction of his body against mine so potent that reason slips away. I lower my mouth to his collarbone, kissing lightly. He makes a low sound, guiding me with gentle fingertips. There's a surreal quality to it all. Music in the background, the murmur of other patrons, while here in the booth, it's just us. A cocoon of desire. Eventually, we break apart for a moment, breathing in ragged gasps. I catch his eye and see that flicker. He's remembering my words. We can't free her by worrying alone. Maybe he also can't handle the tension in his life. The unspoken pressure from his new position must be enormous. Right now, we're both letting go of burdens, finding solace in each other. My hand travels down his chest lower until I feel him stiffen. A spark of daring flares inside me. I can see the raw hunger in his face. He's letting me lead to see how far I'm willing to go. My voice shakes with a mixture of nerves and anticipation. If I do this, I whisper, will you make sure you stay quiet? His eyes widen, darkening with understanding. He exhales shakily. Yes. I slip off his lap and settle onto the cushioned seat, leaning toward him. The small table in front of us holds the candle and empty champagne flutes, but we're hidden behind its curve and the booth's high walls. Every movement feels surreal, charged with the forbidden nature of our environment. I glance up at him, heart pounding so loudly I wonder if the entire lounge can hear it. His hand trembles slightly as he rests it on my shoulder, a silent affirmation. Then I carefully undo his belt, my breath hitching. The overhead lighting is dim, but enough to reveal his flushed cheeks, the tension in his jaw. Time seems to slow, my cheeks burn with a mixture of desire and a dash of fear that someone might walk by, but the thrill outstrips the risk.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at tylawalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
For a few long seconds, we're suspended in pure sensation, hearts pounding wildly. Then reality seeps back in. The lounge's ambient noise, the faint jazz melody, the knowledge we've just made love in a public space, half concealed by the booth's darkness. I slowly ease off him, both of us breathing hard, pulses racing. I can't meet his eyes at first, giddy embarrassment washing over me. Did we really just do that? He gently lifts my chin, coaxing me to look at him. A tender, satisfied smile curves his lips. You're incredible, he whispers. I bite back a shy laugh. I can't believe I pause, glancing around as if expecting the entire lounge to be staring, but the booth's hush remains, and no one seems to be paying attention. That was exhilarating. He tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. Yes, he agrees hoarsely, still a bit breathless. He gazes at me with a mixture of awe and gratitude. You, Ms. Lori, are full of surprises. A wave of affection surges in me. I brush my thumb across his cheek. So are you, Mr. Family Business. My lips quirk into a teasing grin, but then I soften. But we should maybe fix ourselves up? He lets out a quiet chuckle. Good point. We spend a moment smoothing clothes, fixing hair, trying to restore some semblance of normalcy. My dress settles back around my thighs, and I press my palms against my cheeks, willing the flush to fade. He fastens his belt, picks up his tie from where it's half hanging, and attempts to tie it neatly again. I watch his fumbling fingers with amusement, eventually stepping in to help. Our eyes meet, and he laughs softly. That might be the wildest thing I've done in a long time. My heart swells at the vulnerability in his tone. Same, I admit, leaning in to peck his lips, a more subdued kiss now that the storm has passed. We settle back against the plush seat, still close, my hand resting on his thigh. The adrenaline recedes, leaving behind a glowing warmth and a shared secret. I tuck my head against his shoulder, inhaling his scent, still tinged with the faint musk of our passion. He rubs my arm soothingly. For a while, we just breathe together, letting the lounge's subtle background noise cradle us. The jazz trio transitions to another soft tune, and the energy in the room feels calm, almost dreamy. Eventually, he tilts his head to speak near my ear. You all right? He asks gently. I nod. More than all right, I say, giving him a small smile. I rest my fingers on his shirt collar, tracing idle patterns. I can't believe we did that. His smile turns mischievous. Would you do it again if you could? A laugh bubbles up from my chest. Don't tempt me. Then my expression grows more thoughtful. I needed that, desperately, just to forget everything for a few moments. He kisses my temple. Me too, he murmurs, voice tight with sincerity. I can't tell you how much I needed it. A thread of empathy tugs at me. He truly is carrying a weight I know little about. For all his suave exterior, I sense the stress gnawing at him. I place a hand on his chest, feeling the steady thump of his heart. Thank you, I say softly, not just for the pleasure, but for the intimacy, for letting me see a side of him that's vulnerable and real. His eyes shine with warmth. Thank you. After a while, the swirl of conversation and music in the lounge grows more noticeable. Another couple passes by, and I stiffen slightly, hoping they can't read the flush on my face or guess what just transpired in our booth. He senses my tension and strokes my arm. Should we head out, he suggests, glancing at the time on his watch. It's late, and I don't want you to worry about tomorrow's shift or anything. I exhale, nodding. Probably a good idea. Part of me wants to linger in this bubble of safety, but reality calls. We should go before I trail off, flushing, before I lose my composure again, I finish half joking, and he flashes that roguish grin, leaning in to peck my lips. Composure is overrated, he teases. But yes, let's slip out before anyone grows suspicious. We stand and gather ourselves, smoothing clothes once more. I'm painfully aware of every rustle of my dress, the memory of how high it was pushed mere minutes ago. Heat rushes to my cheeks, but I hold my head high, hoping we look composed enough to pass as just a couple leaving after a normal night out. He settles the check quietly with a passing server, no doubt leaving a generous tip for the lounge staff. Then, with my hand in his, we step from the booth, making our way through the lounge. My knees still feel a bit wobbly from the intensity of what we did, but I manage an air of casual poise. If Alexander is similarly rattled, he hides it well behind that cool confidence. Outside, the air is cooler, the street quieter, the driver stands ready, opening the car door. Alexander helps me in, then slides in after me. The hush in the back seat feels different now, more intimate, a conspiratorial glow lingering between us. He slips an arm around my shoulders, drawing me close as the driver heads through the nighttime streets. I rest my cheek on his chest, heart still fluttering. The city lights blur past, but all I can think about is the warmth of his body, the memory of our secret moment in that lounge booth. At length he murmurs, "Stay at my place tonight?" His voice is tentative, as if he's unsure whether the boldness we displayed in the lounge extends to staying together till morning. A swirl of longing and practical caution collides in me. Part of me wants to say yes, to lose myself in him fully. Another part remembers I have an early shift, but the desire to stay in his orbit is overwhelming. My lips curve into a small smile. I wish I could, I say softly, but I have to be at the hospital at dawn, and I only have a few changes of clothes at home. He tries to hide his disappointment with a nod, kissing the top of my head. I understand, he says quietly, pressing me closer. We'll find another night. I slip my hand over his, lacing our fingers. Yes, another night soon, just text me. We'll figure it out, I whisper, heart fluttering with anticipation for a future rendezvous, maybe not as risky, but hopefully just as electric. When the car stops outside my building, he insists on walking me to the door. The night air is a comfortable hush, the city's neon glow painting the sidewalks in patches of color. He holds my hand as we climb the short flight of steps to my apartment lobby. We pause at the entrance. I turn to face him, memories of the lounge still sizzling in the space between us. Tonight was beyond words, I manage, feeling my cheeks heat again. He cups my cheek, his gaze gentle. I'm glad. You deserve all the happiness we can steal right now. He hesitates, searching my face. Just be okay, all right? My throat tightens at the concern in his voice. I will, promise. Then I lean up to kiss him softly, letting it linger, savoring the taste of him one last time tonight. He strokes my hair, returning the kiss. We separate slowly, reluctant. Sleep well, he murmurs. You too, I whisper. I open the door, stepping inside, feeling his gaze follow me until the glass and walls separate us. Then I hear his footsteps fade as he heads back to the car. Once alone in the silent hallway, I press my back against the door, heart thumping in my chest. Every inch of me feels alive, thrumming with the memory of Alexander's touch, the thrill of our impulsive act. It's like a dream, a perfect but impossible dream in the midst of the chaos that's become our everyday lives. I let out a long, trembling breath and head upstairs, replaying every stolen kiss, every gasp we tried to stifle. The hush of my apartment feels surreal after such intensity, but I smile to myself. Tonight, for once, it was about letting go of fear. For a few hours, I lived in pure, unadulterated passion. Tomorrow will come with its challenges, Nyla's ordeal, my shift at the hospital, Alexander's hidden battles. But at least we shared something magical, a spark that reminds me we're still human, still capable of seizing joy wherever we find it. Will we keep this joy? I hope so. But with everything going on, I'm afraid we'll lose it. Will I lose Alexander and the happiness I felt with him, or was it not even real to start?